Thank you everyone for being here. I was saying that I'm not quite prepared to give a presentation like this. I'm so used to Zoom. You're gonna have to bear with me if I fumble or make mistakes or say the words wrong. In any case, my name is Minquini and I'm the core lead of AthenaDAO, the decentralized collective looking to fund women's health research. Let me start by saying that I am not a scientist. So I am the living proof that you can, I'm a great example of how with decentralized science, you can organize around causes that matter to you. I have experience launching and growing consumer business and have worked with luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and consumer tech companies like Apple and Amazon. It was in my advocacy work in longevity that I became obsessed with menopause, and here we are. I'm sure you have heard about the infamous Valley of Death. A log from Bio actually mentioned it in his first presentation today. For those in biomedical research and biotech, the Valley of Death is an important theme. A friend yesterday actually said that pretty much everything in biotech is in the Valley of Death. A nod to my friend. But I actually did go up and look up the definition. And the Valley of Death in R&D it's used to describe the period of the development of a product or service when a significant increase of investment is required, making the risk of failure much more likely to outweigh the potential future return. When it comes to women's health, we're nowhere near the Valley of Death. That's not a problem we have the pleasure of having. So rather than tell you about how criminally underfunded women's health research is, or tell you more of the horrible stats, such as how in 2020, 10% of the NHS's research funding went to women-specific conditions, I am instead going to make a case for how ignoring half of the world's population is one of the silliest mistakes in innovation and business that we are making in modern times. When you think that 1% of healthcare research and innovation is allocated to female-specific conditions, you can imagine that we're leaving a lot on the table. For example, menopause and its associated symptoms are not capturing global disease burden databases, which looks broadly at causes of death, disease, injury, and health risk factors. We're leaving a lot on the table, from contraception to menopause, basically anything that affects the odds of you being here. Because if you're not a woman, you have a girlfriend, you have a sister, and you have a mother. And speaking of mothers, this meme is going viral right now on Instagram, and it says, "Motherhood is not every woman's calling." And I added to that meme, but menopause will happen to all of them. Again, when you think of the total addressable market, you're thinking of half of the world's population in this one condition in women's health, menopause. I did say that I'm obsessed with menopause, so you're gonna hear a lot about that. But women's problems do not sound sexy. Who really wants to talk about menopause? And if that's not your jam, if your thing is solving big world problems, you have to think that we're heading for an infertility crisis. Or how about something more incredible, like an open source artificial womb? And as everything starts with science and technology, there is a unique opportunity in change to work in women's health from the ground up, with decentralized communities, empowering researchers, and changing the current paradigm. Since no one is paying attention, there's a lot of opportunity. It's like it's like a blank page. From things like standardized women's health data sets, computational biology focused on women's health, academic publishing, and as I said, what about an open source artificial womb? At AthenaDAO, we're first focusing on the areas of research that are most underfunded, such as ovarian aging, menopause, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and biomarkers for all of these, as well as endometriosis and uterine fibroids. So when I mentioned that 10% of women's health research goes into women's health, of that, 1% goes into these conditions. But given that half of the population will go to menopause, if you actually kind of do a very basic math, things don't really square. As a progress to date, we were selected as the first cohort of BioXYC, which we were very honored about. We've already presented an academic conference. And we just recently published a reproductive health report, which is actually our first public good. It was thanks to a Web3 tool, Gitcoin, that we were able to do this. We've onboarded about 10 to 15 active contributors in academia, venture, and research. And we have also run a series of talks with the leaders in the space. More importantly, and something that we're very proud of, is that we are already evaluating projects from institutions such as Harvard, Cambridge, and many more. We count with the support of many biotech and research institutions. And our goal is to become the leading global community-enabled platform driving translational and transformational women's health research, education, and funding. So with that said, we're actually going to have a panel on women's health research. And I have two amazing scientists with me today. I'm going to get them to come on stage.